All right, perfect. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is your host Rob for Snapbacks and Flatcaps. Today, I'm joined by two guests. It's been a while. This is the first time we're doing it streaming live on Twitch. It should be fine. Visuals will be available on YouTube. Audio will be available on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, etc., etc., etc. So I'm joined by two people. I'm gonna start with Kelly. Kelly, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do. Why you're here as well.
I am Kelly Gray. I'm an actress and presenter for my sins, and I don't actually know why I'm here. You invited me, and I thought, hey, why the hell not? So
That's
I'm
it.
here to chat to you. I don't know what I've let myself in for, actually,
You,
to be honest, Rob.
you know what might be good? I wonder if I can flip your things. Can you guys both turn your phones like that?
Yeah.
Oh, that is 100% better. That is super sexy. All right, cool. And Faris, tell us who you are, man.
Yo, what we saying, guys? I'm a content creator, been on Rob's platform before. In
Yeah.
London, out here. Well, I say out here during lockdown, so in here, living life, getting by, doing my thing, staying active.
Listen, you guys are both good, man. You guys, don't worry about it. Don't look so scared. It's not an interview. Do you know what I mean? It's just a chat. Some of you more aware than others. The first thing I wanted to say is, I'm going to start with you, Faris.
Yo.
We're talking about lockdown, and I would say that I think this is the most I've seen you working, to be honest. Like I've been looking around, seeing what's up, and you're still doing bits, man. What's going on? Talk to me.
Bro, it's weird, isn't it? It's so funny you said that. My friend literally said to me earlier today, he was like, bro, I feel like you've been more active during lockdown than out of lockdown. And I'm like, and he was serious, like how you've just said it. And I was like, bro, most of my work's gone. I'm earning less money. Like, there's no events. Most of the videos I do are for events. And he was like, I know. And I was like, I don't get it either. I don't know. I've got like a more drive, I think, to be out, even though you're not allowed to be out, but you are if it's professional. But then there's other things. So I've learned to just adapt to different things. You know what? I've grown more in lockdown than before lockdown.
You've grown more. In what way?
100%. In a way where I've gone, right, everyone's super limited right now. What can you do to push yourself out your comfort zone? And, I've read a lot of like books and videos, and I've got like a long list on my notes. Yeah, you're on your phone and your laptop,
Yeah.
with your notes. Yeah, they sync together, and it's just for educational purposes. There's motivational speakers, there's YouTubers, there's loads of like books that I've just never got round to, and this list has been growing for years, by the way. And during lockdown, I opened 5 tabs, then 10 tabs, then 15 tabs, and then my computer started running slower. So the only way I could get myself to be running and navigating smoothly on Facebook and Twitter and all the things I want to be on is to get through those tabs. So I forced myself to learn videos. I forced myself to watch the things I've put off for months and years. And each day I took a new like motivational video, a spiritual video, a fitness video. And then I just found myself working out more in the mornings, waking up earlier. And then I found myself taking more vitamin tablets, and then found myself looking for other areas of work. And then I stopped doing my normal stuff and just found myself becoming more and more active.
Fuck. Okay. Fucking hell. Like, that's you know what, that's kind of, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of perfect. That's really what everyone should be doing, because we don't always get those chances to really slow down in that kind of way and find out what's
That's
going
it.
on with our life. What do you think about that, Kelly?
That's the good thing about lockdown, is because we've never had this before. And it's kind of, I felt like before the first lockdown, before last year, I was actually saying to people, like, I feel like something needs to happen, because everything was going a bit too crazy with like social media and this, that and the other, and I was like, something big's gonna happen. I just feel like we need to stop and just chill out for a bit. And it was like constant, like you just felt like you weren't stopping, you were working constantly, and then you weren't seeing any money, and you weren't, I don't know what it was, I was so tired all the time. And then suddenly lockdown happened, and I've been guilty of it, moaning like I'm bored, I've got no money coming in, blah blah blah. But actually, it's given everybody a chance to sit back and actually look at a bigger picture and look at the everyday things that we take for granted. I don't think people are anymore. You know, just being able to go to the pub and see your friends is could be such a big thing when we can finally do that. Just going out and seeing your friends, little things like that we just take for granted. I think everyone's learned to go, these are blessings, like we, you know, and we have been taking them for granted for so long.
Yeah, for sure. And is this where you came up with your online web series? Because there's two.
So
Look, the thing is, I got to be honest. You know, I seen both of them, and I thought I seen this. I'm like, yo, I have to get her on to talk about this because listen, I don't know. Like, I got some mad things, and I know Faris. I know the sort of stuff you post and the sort of stuff that you talk about when it comes to dating. But I should explain. Actually, no, Kelly, I'll let you explain basically what your web series is and what it's about.
Okay, so I mean, this started years ago. I did a 6-part mini series that I wrote, and then we put it all together called All's Fair in Love and Tinder, which was just hideous stories of swiping. And then that was kind of put to bed. And then someone said to me, like, you need to make more of this, you know, like, do something, because there's so many funny stories out there that people can relate to. You might as well talk about it. And I was going to do a vlog, and I kept putting it off. And then when we went into lockdown 1, I thought, oh, I've got no excuse now. I need to do this. So I started releasing videos every week. I scrapped all my Instagram and started from scratch, and it's just all now single and skint, which is what it's called. And it is just about being single in my 30s, trying to make it, you know, just trying to live and have fun, but talking very honestly. So I do swear a lot because I naturally do. I've got a potty mouth, so that's just going to happen. And talking about things that people don't talk about, and they should, you know. I mean, ghosting. Ghosting's a massive thing. And I did an episode on that, and someone messaged me that I hadn't spoken to for ages and was like, oh my God, this happens to me all the time, but I'm so embarrassed of it. And I'm like, well, let's out them.
So have you both been ghosted?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I've been ghosted. So you need to
Rob, go away.
I need to explain the concept. I'm not sure. Isn't it just like you're talking to someone and then they go, basically?
Yes, they just disappear. They just like die.
Right. I don't know.
I didn't realize this was such a thing. It is.
No, listen, I don't know, man. Like,
massive.
as some of you may or may not know, I'm out of the game, but I definitely learned something watching your stuff, and then I watched a lot listening to your stuff, and I'm like, how are these two not overlapped with their views? So what's your views? What's your views, Faris, on dating and dating now? Because I see you post a lot about this.
So first of all, I love where you're going with this, because it brings in what you do, which is bring people together. Second of all, it's really interesting hearing her say this, because someone else said to me last week, what is it with can you do a story talk on your Insta, please, about ghosting? And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, like, it's literally, I don't get it, some guy's just done it to me. And I was like, what are you on about? Is that even a thing? But now you just made me realize, like, it's actually a thing.
It's massive. Yeah,
massive. But look, back to your question, Rob, about what my views are on dating right now. Oh mate, the pandemic, lockdown, I feel like everyone's thinking the same thing but not talking about it. That's why I did that video of recently dating in the new normal, because everyone secretly, well, no, I won't say everyone, but a lot of people secretly want to mingle. They secretly still want to date. They know that they can't go into each other's houses, and it's all of this awkward talk because no one wants to publicly say it, because then they're going to get the Karen saying you're part of the problem, and no one really is going to break rules, because it's like, if they can, they will. And I know people who are, and it's like, it's a really weird time. It's a really, really weird time, because it's not even so much about the law, if you don't believe that, you know, what is a bubble, for example. You know, a bubble, according to the gov.uk website, is when you can exclusively team up with someone else that's not within your household. So does that mean you can legally put anyone in your bubble, and then that he can legally be in your house? But then do you know what I mean? It's just like the rules don't really make sense. And then how do how do you present this bubble to the law if you do get checked, and how do you then you can change your bubble? Like, do you know what I mean? There's just so many things right now, and I don't really know. But I want to keep it real with it. Like, I think everyone should just do their thing, but just be cautious and be wary.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say.
It's so confusing. It's so confusing because I hear people, and I know people that are still dating, like they're still going out and meeting for a walk, which apparently you're allowed to do.
You are, yeah.
So they're going out for a walk. Well, it's fucking freezing outside, and I feel the cold. So that doesn't work for me. Like, if my hair gets wet, it just goes massive. Like, it doesn't work for me. It's not my best look. So a first date, for me to be stood out in the rain and the cold, it's not going to go down well. And plus, as well, if someone finds out you're dating, it's kind of frowned upon as well, because they're like, oh, these times you shouldn't be going out and meeting people you don't know. So what do you do? Like, just end up alone and single forever?
I heard people are meeting in the supermarket and doing it like that. Not meeting it like, not randoms, but saying, oh, both of you are like, okay, yeah, I'll meet you at Asda's at 1 o'clock. I'll meet you. Okay, cool. I'll meet you at Asda's. No. That kind of thing. Apparently that's about happening. But you know what it is? You know what it is for me? Like, obviously this isn't really my department, but I will say something. Let me ask you both a question. Okay, so Faris, what are you looking for? And Kelly, what are you looking for?
You go first.
Ladies first, you want first.
Lady, I haven't been called a lady for ages. Okay, so what am I looking? Honestly, at my point in life now, I am looking for my other half. You know, I am looking to kind of. I hate the term settle down, because I don't think that's in my personality to ever just settle down. But you know, just to have someone there. I've been single for a long time, and that's been a choice. But now I feel like this has taught me, lockdown has taught me that I'm content with myself. So I would like someone else to be content with me.
So,
but at this...
Right, no, wait. I just want to ask. Okay, so let me ask you two questions then. So what do you want? What are your requirements for this person? And what do you think men want?
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm very ambitious. I'm very driven. So I need someone that is equally as ambitious and driven, because if someone's just like, you know, I'm happy to just, you know, work in an office. I've been working since I was 16. So that's cool, but it's not for me. So that's important. I need to laugh, because that's how I like to spend my days. And family orientated, like family is a big thing for me. So unless, you know, you're hot on the whole family sitch, then it's not going to work. What was the other question? Well,
what about appearance? What would you like them to look like?
Appearance. Well, I'm typical, tall, dark and handsome, you know, but I look at all my exes, they all look totally different, and I've clearly been doing it wrong with what I've been going for, because they've all ended up being wankers. So I feel like I should have someone else do that for me. Like, I don't think I should really go on looks. Don't get me wrong, I think physicality is so important. Like, you need to fancy someone. But if someone can really make me laugh, then they're on to a winner already.
Why are they all wankers? Can we go into that? Can we speak about that? The reason why I said it, hold on, I'm just going to say one thing. You see how not everyone, some women are like, men are scumbags, men are trash.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, but there must, because my thing is, there's like, okay, there's 8 million people in London alone, innit? Let's say half of them are men, 4 million. 4 million of them can't be trash. Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, is it partly, because I used to have this phrase of that, all women are crazy. Oh, yeah, they're all crazy. Oh, everyone I date is crazy. But I'm like, no, hold on a second. They can't all be crazy. But hold on, what have they got in common? And then I'm like, oh shit, it's me.
And that's what you start thinking. You do start going, I'm the common denominator.
Right.
Here. But, right, in all honesty, I have the worst luck with men. Like,
I know, I've seen that all fair in London Tinder. I don't know, man. Some of them, I don't think to give Faris up to speed. I mean, there's a few different scenarios. One of them is the sweaty guy. Some guy turns up super sweaty. Then there's a guy who turns up and he's super short, which you ran from. Which I thought you should have given him a chance. Who else we got in there? Then we had the guy and they kind of disappeared. And then we had another guy.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Let's tell you about the most recent one, which is horrendous. Okay, I don't know if you've seen it on my blog. He called him the Flower Fairy. So.
Oh yeah, yep.
So I work in a gym in central London, and suddenly every Wednesday, I started receiving bouquets of flowers. Like, it was beautiful, and little poems and stuff, and giving me clues as to who he was. Said that we dated in the past and everything. He was giving me those clues, and he was like, "I want to rekindle an old flame." I was like, "This is lovely." This went on for 3 months. 3 months, right? And we went into the second lockdown during this. He made an Instagram profile calling himself the Single and Skint Flower Fairy and sent me some flower emojis, okay? Right. Then he started actually communicating with me. I still had no idea who he was. And my friends were like, "How do you not know? He's told you dated." And I'm like, "Yeah, but he's told me it's between 8 and 10 years ago." And I've gone through a list. I had a list of people, and I was like, married, can't be them. So I couldn't figure out who it was. Anyway, we were about to meet up. We were having this whole thing. It was all going to be, everything was vlogged, everything was recorded, but we were going to meet. And the day before, he had actually sent me a picture, and he said it was his sister. And I thought, I can do some digging here. So I looked for this picture on Instagram, because there was the location, found her, looked on her Instagram, and there was no brother. So I was like, "What's happened here?" So I messaged him and said, like, "What's the crack here? Because I found your sister, but there's no brother." And he disappeared. The Single and Skint Flower Fairy, literally, like, he deleted the whole Instagram profile. He vanished. I was devastated. I had no idea what happened. I was like, someone's taken me for a fool. Like, they've spent hundreds of pounds at this point sending me flowers every week. And now I found out I've been catfished, or someone's playing a big joke on me. So I was heartbroken at this point. And then I find out who it was, because the police got involved and all this stuff. And I did know who he was. He was married. He got married last May. So I didn't ask for this. Like, I didn't go out searching for this. He made contact with me. He sent me flowers. He sent me the poems. And he was married. Early wedding. Last year. So you kind of go like, I'm really not going out looking for this. But the guys that I tend to meet or that come up to me end up being married, having girlfriends.
Hold on. Let's wheel it back. Okay. I'm gonna let Faris respond to that, because I'm gonna talk in a minute. Go on, Faris. You respond to that. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, bro. Oh, I don't know what to say. I was so involved in that story, just listening. I was like, oh my god, this is like a horror. It's like romantic, then it felt a bit horror, then it felt a bit like what is that? I can't believe guys do this stuff, man. Honestly, like, fair play to the effort. I mean, but why would you make that effort, spend your time, effort, and money if you're married to do that to someone?
Right. And headfuck them, because that's what it was. Like, it was mad.
But do you think he actually like had feelings for you, or do you think he was playing a game on you? I don't think, do you think he was really playing a game on you?
I honestly don't know who would spend that much money and put in that much effort. 1 week I got a massive box just full of chocolate and sweets and like all this sort of stuff that it was weird. He spent so much
hold on. Let me
one more question. I just wanted to ask, how did you find out who it was?
Because I'm a woman and we are detectives, okay?
Yeah, so for sure.
He had told me, because I literally sat there and I went through all our conversations. I was like, right, there's got to be a clue in here that I'm missing. So he told me what golf club he played at. So I put that into Instagram, and I thought, right, it's only got something like 500 followers. So let's see if I can recognise anyone. First person that comes up is this guy that I dated years ago. And I was like, he's married, it can't be him. Anyway, then I put his name into Google and looked at his LinkedIn profile. and he had told me his birth date match. On one of the boxes that he sent me, there was like a return address postcode, so not an actual address, but just a postcode on the box, because he'd reused this box. The postcode matched his business. So I was like, there you go. I found out who you are, and I messaged him and was like, the police are involved. And I told him that the police told me they couldn't because of fucking data protection. But he just admitted.
Hold on. Yeah. Can I look at this from a different angle? So how long ago did you speak to this guy, realistically?
This ended 2 days before Christmas.
So bad.
Oh, no, is that when you were dating him, Christmas?
We weren't dating, like we were about to meet. We were meeting.
Oh no! I mean, like, you know, like years before you knew it was him.
Oh, years ago. Yeah, it was like 8 years ago. It's a long time ago.
How did it end?
Well, we just went out once, but I was kind of like fuck girl Kelly and having a great time and just didn't want anything. And that was it. So we only went out once. But he was a fit guy. Like, he was nice. He was funny. There was nothing wrong with him. It was just I wasn't in the right place back then.
Hold on. I don't know. This is an alternative point of view, controversial point of view, unpopular opinion. Do you think that maybe he was getting a bit bored with his wife, and man was looking for like a little extracurricular activity, and I thought, okay, let me just get this started, and this would be a good little side thing to get going? Maybe, I don't know.
Quite possibly, but why? Like, he knew that I was vlogging this every week. It was going on my vlog every week, and he didn't back off. It was so weird. So weird.
Where do you? Yeah.
That's the kind of guys that I attract.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, I've heard some stories, but that's not. It's not great. Yeah, it's not great, man. It's not great. No. Okay, that was my other question. What do you think men want?
Oh God, that's like the age-old question. That's I don't know. I don't understand.
Interesting.
Well, I don't get it anymore. Like I don't know, because I'll date someone and think, oh, they want something long term, right? But then it turns out they don't. So I have my radar's completely off. Okay. I have no idea.
Okay. Let me put a pin in that. Faris, what do you think women want? And then I'm going to give you my responses on this one.
I think everyone wants different things, bro. I don't think like.
Okay, let me rephrase it. Kelly, you're looking to settle down. Faris, I don't know if you are, but at the moment I can't imagine it's the top of your priority list. But let's say hypothetically, each opposite sex is looking for a relationship, long-term, serious thing, maybe babies, maybe marriage. What do you think they're looking for in the opposite sex then?
Okay, when they're ready to settle down, you think?
Yeah.
You're asking?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Respect, honesty.
Hold on, is this what women are looking for in guys, or which way is it?
This is what I think what women are looking for.
Okay, cool. Yep.
I think they're looking for when they're ready. So when they've kind of figured themselves out, they've had some jobs, had some boyfriends, late 20s, maybe early 30s. I think when they're ready to settle down, they know they are in their head. Then when they stop going out less and they start taking them more seriously, I think they're looking for respect, honesty, loyalty, commitment, honestly, I think girls will tell people they think, oh, someone ambitious, someone tall, someone who looks after his health, someone who's chasing success, wealth. But I think, honestly, those guys don't often have the traits such as commitment, trust, loyalty. So what happens is a lot of girls will think they want this like 10-10 perfect hustle guy who wants to be a millionaire, but really they settle for someone who they just find the traits like trustworthy, and that could just be like an average Joe, like someone who's just got good traits, average job, normal job, isn't like tall, hench, good looking, and that's okay.
Is that right, Kelly?
I totally agree.
That's right? Yeah. Okay.
I think girls go through like phases. So when they're in their sort of late teens and 20s, it's very much about the buff guy with the tats and the muscles and goes to the gym and wants to make all his money and show off. But then they get to their 30s and it's like, oh sorry, my Siri's talking to me. And then it's a completely different story in their 30s. In their 30s, they want someone who they can trust, who they can rely on, who they can make a future with, they can see as the father of their kids. And it's very different traits, you know. I'm totally put off the big buff gym bunny guy. I don't like that. Whereas my ex, he was a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's my whole look on what I want has changed in like 5-6 years.
Hold on. I'm dying to, you know, I have a lot of thoughts in it and I don't really want to offend anyone. So I'm just like, yo.
No, go on.
Okay, so, hold on. It's about that time. People know it's about that time. Okay, so basically, I think you're both half right. I think, in my opinion. Yeah, so I think, personally, the guys that you're describing, Kelly and Faris, these kind of, let's call them chads, innit? Chads, you know, popular, good-looking bodies, etc., etc., etc. I don't feel like they're as available for the sort of stuff that women want as women get older. They probably don't want commitment, whatever. And not only that, the competition's fierce. And not only that, when you're in your 20s, you have more options, generally. I think, especially as a woman. But then as you get older, I think your options, you want someone more of a safe bet. But however, if you want someone who's a safe bet, you still need someone that you desire, because desire plays a part into it. So even though they might have the qualities of someone who is, reliable and safe, and he'd be good, he'd be that, you still need something there. But the problem is those kind of top tier guys who have the mix of both, they usually get snapped up quickly, or their range is a lot bigger of who they want to choose from, right? So I don't know, it's just, I mean, there's definitely, and then back to Faris's point as well, there's definitely qualities that men look for in a woman. It's quite interesting though, neither of you mentioned appearance at all, but character is important. I know, Faris, you mentioned honesty and all this and commitment. To be honest, generally, I don't think you need to, like, commitment's not a huge, like, that's, to be honest, that's like more of a standard, isn't it? Like, I think women's opinion of commitment is definitely different from guys, and I don't think it's something that you need to require, because most of the time, if they're in that headspace, they'll automatically give it. If that makes sense.
Wait, you don't think women want commitment from a man?
No, let me rephrase. I mean that women want commitment from a man, but I'm saying that they fucking, how am I putting it? Like, you said that women want commitment from a man, right? Yeah, that's fine, but that's a standard, that's just a given. They're expecting, of course, he's going to commit to him, but they're more serious about commitment as opposed to guys are in general. But if you're saying that men are looking for commitment in women, that's a different story. Because really, I don't know how to put it. Basically, it's not like a huge thing, like for men. Men are just like, yeah, standard, obviously, like for her to commit, but it's not their driving force. So like usually a driving force, generally speaking, for women is based around the relationship, and it's not so much with the men. Men are usually based on their purpose. Like someone like you, who I know very well, and you're very focused on your purpose. So whoever you get with, they have to just get on board with that, and to a certain degree.
Okay, I get you now. I get you. At first I was like, what? Because you asked me, what do women want in men, in my opinion? And the first thing that popped up was commitment. But now you said that, I understand, because I have seen some videos that are like, a guy who is driven on his purpose needs to find a girl who aligns with that vision. Yeah. Which is what I think you're, And
I think some of the mistakes that guys make when they're younger is they make women the forefront, and really you shouldn't. You should work on making the qualities, building your own qualities, you know, character, integrity, career ambition, etc.
No, 100%.
And then all those things do follow, because you'll never get a guy, a top. When I say a top tier guy, I'm saying like someone's got their shit together, has a certain level of quality, who's in demand in many different ways. You'll never see him short of options for women at all. But it's about who he chooses to be his wife or the mother of his kids. Now that is very, very, very stringent, that that list. Because my list is mad. My list in myself is mad long, innit? And man's engaged, so I kind of know what I'm talking about on that one. So, do you know what I mean? But a lot of it's trial and error. But I think that I do say that what women say they want and what they actually want are very different. I'll give you an example. I just want a nice guy. Okay, cool. You got John here. John's like not the most attractive guy. John's not the tallest guy. There's no spark with John. But scumbag number 2 over here. There's a spark, so I'm gonna go after spark. But the game's not based on sympathy, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know this already, I feel like watching what I watch, because I know, like, I don't know what your situation is, Faris, and I don't want to beat you up, but I'm thinking, from what I know and what I see and all the rest of it, I don't think there should be a shortage of women for a guy like you. And when I say that because of your character, your career, but I know you spoke to me before about friend zones. But to me, friend zones can be simplified. How I think about the friend zone is simple, okay? Let's say, for example, we've got a guy and a girl here. So let's say, for example, Faris likes Kelly. What Faris should be doing, shooting a shot. Kelly's going to be like, yes or no, okay? And then depending on what Kelly said, depending on her response, is how you should respond. It should be simple. It's how simple it should be. You should just go after what you want, and that's it. But however, that being said, some guys don't shoot their shot. The girl still knows they like him, and they're just like having him there. Because usually what happens is, if a guy shoots his shot, and when I mean not in subliminal, straight up like, yo, man's on this thing, or whatever way you want to put it, and then she says yes or no. If she says yes, cool, boom, it's good. If she says no, it's still good, because then at least you know where you stand. You can go about doing whatever. So when you go about doing whatever, what usually happens is, we never hang out anymore. We're not friends no more. You know, you got a little girlfriend. This is what I'm saying, because you are now unattainable, and now you've taken the control of the decision in your life. I don't know. Friend zone is a dead zone, bruv. Don't waste your time out there.
No, I think you simplified it so well as well, because you basically said it's the guy's job to make a move, but then it's the girl's job to make it clear if she's interested or not. Then there's no such confusion in the friend zone.
Unfortunately, I think people make it too confusing now. There's too many options for people. They've got all these date sites and stuff, and it's been made too easy. If something's not working, or if someone has got one thing that they don't like about them, they can just go back on their phone and search for someone else. Whereas before, back like years ago, you would have gone up to someone in a bar, made that effort to talk to them, gone out of your way to do that, and so you've already committed a little bit to the cause. So later on, when you're texting and everything, you want it to work. Whereas swiping,
I think that's only partly true. And the reason why I say that is because real guys, real dons, they go hard for what they really want. So he could be talking to 8 different girls. If you're the one he's interested in, he'll go hard for you and allow these other girls. But I think the issue is that it's the Premier League, you know. There's 10 teams, there's 10 top teams in the Premier League. Everyone has to compete for their spot. And I feel like if the qualities, if his favourite has all the qualities he desires, or enough of the qualities he desires, he'll make that choice to pursue her. But I think what's happened is that I feel like how some women interact with guys, it can come across a little bit too available, and that's really it's super off-putting for guys. I don't know about you, Faris, but from my previous experience way back when, like if she was too on it, or nah, it's just like nah, just nah, innit?
Bro, it's always one or the other, and it's so annoying. It's literally like when they're too on it. Like I can relate right now, as a single guy doing his thing, feeling quite good. Like I'd say, like I'm in one of my best phases of my life at the moment. So you shine inwardly, differently when you glow, when you go out and you talk to people, they see that you're happy and you attract more. I can honestly say the ones that are too keen, you're just instantly like, oh, you're not on it. But then there's the ones that play it too hard to get. So it's like you can never find the right one.
No, you know what it is? It's you've got. I feel like everyone else relies too much on everyone else's feelings and everyone else's actions. You can't control other people's feelings and actions, you know? You can only control yours. So you need to, like what I was saying earlier about the friend zone, you should just control yours in the sense of, if you want something, go for it. Obviously, don't be attacking people and that, but go for it. And then if it runs, it runs. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But only worry about what you can control. Because when you start thinking about other people and then people, it's just too messy, innit? And it's just wasting time, innit? No one here is getting any younger, innit? Like, let's get it moving, let's get it moving. And I think that's another thing. If you set your intentions out, I think Kelly, for example, I know, you know what? I've seen some of these dates, he's loving Tinder dates. And to be honest, I don't think they're that bad. I've had worse ones than that.
You can say that though. You're all engaged and loved up and shit.
Yeah, but I had to, you know, what's the female expression about the kissing the frogs? I still had to do all of that to get to where I'm at. You know what I mean? So, but I don't think some of them that bad, man. I think they're all right. You know, I think. I think it's. I know, obviously, it's exaggerated for like a comic effect and whatever, but I definitely think there was some different. But the thing is, I was about to say, I know you, Kelly, but I don't know you like that. But what I will say is your environment doesn't help. Because like,
my what? Sorry?
Your environment doesn't help.
Oh, okay.
Because not the lockdown environment. I know like how many guys do you know? How many straight single guys do you know?
You've hit the nail on the head because all my friends are gay men.
Right. And I'll be honest, man, it's hard work approaching and talking to a girl who's already got a bag of man around her. So visually you don't know yet already if who these guys are, and then you might pick up on it on conversation or interactions that, you know, they butter their toast on the other side. But it can still be quite intimidating. But that being said, if I was you personally, I'd be what would be the oldest guy you would date?
Do you know what? I don't have a thing with age. Like I honestly, it's not something I worry about. So I would go younger. I would go older. Like obviously not too young, but not too old. I don't really. It's not the first question I ask anyone. So
because
I guess I don't know.
Yeah, because based on what you want, I imagine the best thing for you to do is to get someone who's like 42. I mean, that's quite specific, but in their 40s. Absolutely. Because the reason why I said that, but that being said, the top tier Donnies who are in their 40s already snapped up. Do you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. But I feel like that's what I would do. And I don't know. Like I'm not in the habit of hunting men, innit? But I would say the locations you go to get them plays a big part into it. And the people that you speak to as well, and all this kind of stuff, you know? It's about putting yourself in the right environments. I know Faris is in some mad environments right now, boy. So I'm not even gonna go into him. Yours is definitely a single guy environment. So
No, but it's true. Even before lockdown, before the world of pandemic, I can't be like, I realised like I'm always moaning about catching feelings for the wrong girls, but then I'm going to parties, raves, and festivals. Like, what kind of girls am I gonna find there? Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. I mean, and that's you know, I'm glad you said that as well. It's about, that's a huge point. Depending on what you're looking for, I remember this old things like, oh, you can't wife a girl from the club and all these old kind of things at the moment. But realistically, that plays a big part into it, because I'm not saying you can't find love on all these dating apps, but it's about how things are executed. But the problem is, if you're a woman and you're meeting someone on a dating app, and on the first date you're like, yo, so basically I'm looking to get married, so what's going on, Steve? What's going on? What's happening? We doing this or what? Obviously that could scare the guy off, but there's ways to go about it. Do you know what I mean? You got to draw them in it, and then you got to know. This is why I asked my earlier question about, do you know what men want? Because men usually want someone who's feminine, who can like I don't know, someone who's not bait for a start, who's quite feminine, who's got probably the same values as them. Because if they're looking at them for someone they want to be their wife or the mother of their kids, because those are the serious things, right? I feel like women think that men don't think like that. Like we do. We're like, no, because X, Y, and Z. Like my list was mad long. You don't even want to know what my list was, but I feel like women think that men are just very basic. Like there's another thing that's always quite interesting to me, is the kind of finance aspect of things. So if you're earning like amazing money, for example, Kelly, do you think that plays a part into dating at all? And when I mean amazing money, I'm like big boy money, like 6 figures. Do you think men care about that, basically?
I think some men do. Like when I tell guys what I do for a living, I'm an actress. They're like, "Oh well, do you actually like make money from that?" I'm like, "Yes, I make more money in a day than you do in a year. So shut up."
Right.
But
yeah.
they automatically they go, "Oh, you haven't got any money," and that's a real turn off for me. And I'm like, "You have no idea. You have no idea like what I do." And
I don't know actually, because I don't know. I would think that my thing is with that, it's like at least you're working. You're working actress, and to me, as long as she's working, I'm kind of fine. But I would never, if it was the other end of the spectrum and she earned crazy money, that doesn't improve her attractiveness for me. That doesn't. What does that do to me?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But I've heard a lot lately, a lot of guys, and I've listened to some like guy podcasts as well, and they say that the one thing they're really attracted to is that the woman's really high up in her role and has got that power behind her and stuff. And I keep hearing this at the moment, and I think that's great. You know, anyone that works hard and is driven to get to those places in life. But if you're judging someone on that, then there's a problem. Like I just don't. The first thing I say to a guy is, also, how much money do you make? I know there are girls that do that, and they normally hang out in Mayfair. But
Well, you know why that is, right? That's more to do with security. Women want security, and if you're looking for a future with someone, you need to know they have some sort of level of security. Because if you're looking for a future with someone, you're looking to have a baby with someone or family with someone, she could be out of the whack for like a year, just being pregnant or being on maternity. So whatever he earns is going to make a difference, because at one stage there might only be one of them working. So I understand their level of security, and most women don't want to pay significant bills after they're pregnant. Like after they have a kid, like they just don't want to do it. So I get why they do it. So when I speak about career and women's money, it's important, but it's not important. I don't think it's important to men, because some men think like, well, if I'm having a family with you, it don't matter because you're going to be out for potentially a year or 2 years. So, you know, I don't know. What do you think, Faris?
Bro, when you said the Mayfair thing, I'm just like thinking like, oh my God, like I know so many girls who go out in Mayfair, and then you just spun my mentality, because I was like, in my head, I was like thinking, no, they go there because they want to go to classy events, they want to dress up nice, they want to be seen in high profile venues. But I'm like, oh my God, when you actually deep it, why are they actually going?
Of course, that's where footballers go. It's where stars go. It's where rappers go, and that's fine. And the thing is, that's fine, isn't it? Because that's another thing women are attracted to. Women are attracted, of course, to money or security, and they're also attracted to social status. So this is why I say to you, Faris, because Faris, you got mad social status. So really, like, you should be getting top tier birds, basically, right? Because it plays a huge part in it, especially now, innit? Like social status, security, money, ambition, confidence, all these things. So this is why I always actually someone before used to say to me, actually, he's a 5 with accessories, which means that he says he's not that great looking, he's quite short, but he's got good money, he's got a yard, like he's got ambition and purpose, and you know.
So let's use the Mayfair example, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
These girls, when they find these footballers, rappers, VIP tables, ballers, profile, social status guys, are they going out just to quickly get wifed up, or are they going just to experience that?
I mean, I'm not a woman who's in that environment, but I would say it depends, because it depends on what their motives are. But usually it can only be a boost for them, because if they only want to use them for a night, then they get all the benefits of partying, being seen with a footballer, being taken to certain things. And also you got to remember, footballers and all those kind of people, rappers, whoever you want to call it, they have a huge range of women to choose from. So if a woman gets chosen by a rapper, a woman feels quote unquote special, because we can choose all of these and he chose me. It's like I had a conversation with someone before, and pardon my language to the ladies and that in the room, but we were saying there's banging famous people will make you less of a hoe than banging Johns, basically. So meaning if all the guys that you've slept with as a woman are like high level rappers or they're footballers or they're this or this or this or this, is it somehow better than sleeping with a bunch of just John, Stephen, Chad, Tyrone or whatever? Because somehow it does, because some are doing it with their chest. They're like, yeah, like, yeah. So, who did I hear before? Someone's like, oh yeah, I sleep with Floyd Mayweather, like with her fucking chest. I'm like, yo, like, no one cares, big man, innit? But it's more to do with the fact is because these guys are somebody, they have status, they have money, they feel special because, he can choose, he's got his choice of all these girls and he chose me. So I'm a top tier thing. Yeah, but the thing is, isn't it, there's a difference between relationship and sex. Some girls are great for sex, but after them, but I feel like sometimes there's a bit of an overlap thinking that some women think that, because he wants to have sex with me, that somehow makes me like, it don't mean nothing. Like some guys are just gonna just smash anything, pardon my language, but there you go.
What you just said is the key point of my complex. You've solved it without meaning to. I was now starting to question, why do these girls dress up nice in their young 20s, going to Mayfair, VIP clubs, venues? And then I remembered so many examples in these circles I'm in. I get that insight to what you just said. And, I know footballers, rappers and entrepreneurs and influencers who have got with these kind of girls, and it crosses over. They start seeing that person and they brought that girl into their world. So
you think that's an accident? You think that's not planned? You don't think like that?
These girls are definitely putting themselves in these environments.
You've got, women are very, they know what they're doing. They're very intelligent. They know exactly. They know what they're doing. Especially now, the kind of women that are out there now, they're just trying to get the bag. They're trying to get to someone who's getting the bag. I mean, obviously, some people do their own thing and hustle and are independent in their own right. But if you get,
what annoys me? Yeah. Guys that I know, like the ones I just mentioned, they say it with chest. I respect the guys because they say, I'm going out, I'm wearing an iced out Rolex because I've got a blue tick, I've got 1 million followers, and yes, I want to be single and I enjoy it, and I'm going to go out to this event and meet paintings. Yeah. I wish more girls came out and said it with chest. I'm going out tonight to look good, because I know that Floyd Mayweather's going to be there. And I know that I'm probably going to be hotter than the majority of the girls in this venue because I want to get his attention. Like, then it would blow my mind if girls started talking like that. I would literally be understanding.
Some of them do. Some of them are like, I've heard of a situation, they're like, yo, like, take us here because this is where all the footballers are. We want to bag some footballers.
Is it?
Take us there. Yeah. I mean, women aren't as innocent as you think, Faris, unfortunately. They're scumbags, just like the rest of us. Isn't that right, Kelly?
I just like to say I am not a scumbag. But do you know what though? You could flip it around because I have seen, I know of an instance at the moment of someone I know who's in her early 20s dating a man who's mid-60s.
Yeah, sugar baby. She's a sugar baby.
Multi.
Yeah, sugar baby. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
how many times has she gone to Dubai?
But look how stupid he is.
No. Cap. What? No. No. You're thinking the wrong thing. This is exactly. Hold on, wait. Let's wheel it up. This is exactly what I just said. He's not stupid because to him, he's a 60-year-old guy banging a 20-year-old. So he don't care, like whatever, innit? Like to him, but yeah, but that's fine. But he's getting into that. He's getting into that arrangement because for his own selfish reasons.
He looks like a dickhead. He looks like an old pervert, basically.
Right. But what does that? Hold on. But what? Hold on. No. I'm not taking that. But what does that make her then? If he's an old pervert and she's thinking, what does that make her?
No, I completely agree. I'm just flipping it on its side.
Yeah, but
when I look at men like that and I go, you do realise.
Yeah, but you got to realise that you noticed as well, he might look like an old pervert, but would you say he was a multi-millionaire? See, women don't care about that. You got to remember that when women date older guys, they expect them to have some sort of status and some sort of money. So things get overlooked. So it doesn't matter really what he looks like. Like I said, 5 accessories. It doesn't matter because haven't you ever found it? I used to work with this girl and she was like 21 and she used to date this guy who's in his 40s. Or 40s or 50s, I don't know. He's like in his 40s, and she said it's not about the money. But he was retired from whatever he was doing, And it's just like, okay, but he don't work for Tesco's driving a van, does he, sweetheart? So, you know what I mean? You think, like, you don't have to lie to me. I don't care, innit? Like, but I know, you know what it is, common now. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to accept that this is what goes back to what men want and what women want. Women do not care, innit? If you're top boss.
Hang on.
Rob's wise, you know. Rob's wise.
Everyone.
Beard gang for white wisdom. And actually, it's funny, actually, you're right. Someone just said in the comments, listen, you're right, and I'll give you the perfect example. Faris, you know Wayne Lineker. You see his post, obviously, his big post on the what he wanted. And I have no problem with that. I wanted to, I'll explain, basically. I haven't got the post, Kelly, but basically, essentially what it is Faris knows this gentleman who owns some clubs in Ibiza, and he's looking for, he was looking, yeah. So he was looking for a lady or whatever, and he said he'd rather date someone a bit younger than him, had a couple of requirements of like what the setup would be dating him. And I was like, yeah, cool. And the thing is, she's ran off. Because I know she is. I thought she's had enough. No. Yeah, no. Because the thing is, he said, you know, I won't get into what he said, but it just basically is like, you know, this kind of age bracket, this is what you'd be doing. This is kind of the setup. This is what to expect in a relationship. And some women are like, oh my God, how can you do this and this and this? Look, man has mad value. So you're telling me women aren't going to want to be attracted to that and want to be involved in that? Come on now. It's just like, it's just like people get proper offended. Look, I'm sorry, but I don't know how old my man is, but if I was in my 50s and I was single and I'm established, I got myself some nice businesses, I still look okay. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm not going to go and get myself a 50-year-old woman. I'll be getting myself a 25-year-old or a 30-year-old. It is what it is. Like, come on now. Mm-hmm. It's what I'll be doing. You're right there, Faris. So a little smile on that in the corner.
Oh, no, because I love how honest you are, innit? Like, you're just saying it how it is. Like, you're not beating around the bush. And it's easy to judge someone when they've got the heat and you're not in that situation. But if you were in that situation, there's a lot of people who would secretly go, you know what, I'll do that.
And it's not only that, it's supply and demand. People wouldn't be putting out this kind of information if there wasn't a demand for it. Do you know what I mean? So if there wasn't women who'd be like, yeah, cool, like, yeah, sure, why not? Then what it is, so why is the guy the bad guy in this situation? Because there's always going to be demand.
So many young girls up for it?
Like I'm trying to think of someone who's, I don't know, like one of my dad's friends is in his 60s. Man could chop his wife in for two 25-year-olds. Like, is what it is. Like, if he's, because at that kind of age, you got to remember as well, I know it's quite confusing because there's so much more money at the moment, especially being influencers, being rappers, and all these guys are fairly young. So there's a lot of money there. But really, the real long-term money gets made by the time you're in your 40s or you're in your 50s or whatever, right? Yeah. So I think like there's a bit of a construct here that sometimes and some women think that, okay, by 30, he should have this amount of money and this kind of car, etc., when really to earn real money, before men earn real money, it's usually in their like 40s, really. But I don't know. Kelly, I know you're dying to say something now. I can see it.
No, not at all. It's interesting to like hear your spin on it, and I do think that everyone is after something different. Like that's why we're all so different people, you know. And it would be awful if we were all the same, and that all women wanted that. You know, the old multi-millionaire man that's going to die every day now. Like, it would be awful if we were all that person, because then what would happen? Like, it would just crumble. And it's just funny to hear different sides of it, you know, because I look at the women and go, oh my God, this is ridiculous. And I also look at the men and think, oh my God, this is fucking ridiculous. You just look ridiculous. But I understand it. Not for me, but I understand it. They want an easy life, you know. They don't have to work. They can just.
And not only that is, I feel like they do those kind of relationships. They are. Everyone thinks it's one way. It's not. Both people get things from each other, right? So.
Which is sad because it then becomes more of a working relationship.
But really. Then why is there sites like Sugar Daddy and .com and Sugar Babies and all this kind of stuff then?
It's a working relationship. It's becoming. I actually feel like as a human race, we're becoming so, what's the word? like negotiable with things. You know, it's all very much
transactional.
like,
yeah, I mean, well,
transactional.
Transactional. Well, life is about compromises and transactions in a way anyway. You know, buying a Twix is a deal.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
yeah, but not transactional. Fuck's sake. Not as transactional as in like, hey, tell you what, buy me that dress, I'll suck your cock. Like that's prostitution. That's not the transactional way.
I think you have to sleep with someone for it to technically be prostitution.
No. There's prostitutes out there that charge for things without sleeping.
I'm not aware of what prostitutes do and they don't do, I'm afraid, Kelly.
You know, these, in the modern day generation, with apps and, like you said, the sugar daddy website, whatever, you have to respect people more for knowing exactly what the deal is, putting themselves forward and saying, this is what I want from you, and then being like, yeah, cool, this is what I want for you. Isn't that being a lot more real and open than trying to manipulate each other?
Yeah, I feel so.
I'm not judging them. I'm not. Like, if they want to do that, that's absolutely cool. It's not for me. Like, but the point I'm trying to put across is I'm not judging them for that. I just think it's sad that we're becoming like much about more deals. Whereas we're not talking from the heart anymore. We're not working from the heart. We're not using real emotions. We're becoming much, you know, and that's the sad thing. And that's what makes me sad. Even dating sites, I find that whole thing is just so, I do it because it's the way you do things now. I don't enjoy it.
It's sad.
Yeah.
But, Rob, I have more respect for a girl who is on sugardaddy.com and doing it with chest and doesn't want love from a man or even want to sleep with them, just wants to be taken out to nice restaurants, than a girl who isn't on sugardaddy.com but is going to Mayfair every weekend to do the same thing but low key and uses her charm to her advantage to her neighbor or in the office at work because she knows her boss fancies her a bit, and then she gets him to do stuff and pay for things. Like, that is worse to me.
It is, and I understand. You know what it is, and part of the problem is the men. And the reason why I say that is because, like I said, the supply and the demand. Like, if there wasn't men like this to gas them up, this is why you got OnlyFans. Do you know what I mean? OnlyFans is out here, and it's just like, everyone's like, oh, OnlyFans. Yeah, but if there wasn't a demand for OnlyFans, OnlyFans wouldn't exist, would it really? So, but it's just, I feel so many people as well, they I don't know, they fucking just, they base especially some men, they base too many of their decisions, their actions, and their motives around women, and you shouldn't do that. Like, it's not that deep. Like, just do what you want to do, innit? Don't do it for the sake of capping for someone else, because that's what I notice is a lot of what's happening in the industry at the moment with just like, look, let me just simplify it. As someone who is in a relationship, when you're not bothered about trying to get it in with a woman, your relationship with her is completely different. Completely. It's madness. It's just bonkers. Or even the possibility of something happening is crazy. I cannot stress that enough. They don't want you to win out here, though, to be fair.
Wait, how do you mean? You mean like when you're friends with someone?
I'll give you an example. I know someone who I won't bait out, and his whole energy changes when a woman's around. And a woman might be his friend, but I think because there's a possibility that something might happen, he might hold back on what he really wants to say or what he really thinks of her opinion. So
you see him do it all the time.
Yeah, so he's pandering to her in hope of getting the naan. So what? To me, that's not a man with integrity, innit? To be honest, like, that makes me question your character as a man. You can't just do things for the sake of what another person, and more specifically what a woman would think of you, or the possibility of something might happen.
That's interesting.
Because it happens a lot.
Half of me thinks, no, you got to be yourself all the time, unapologetically. And if anything, that will attract the woman. But then the other half of me is like, do you tone down certain things that you would say in front of your boys that you wouldn't say in front of
that's a different conversation. But I'm saying that would you, obviously there's conversations you have with like your male mates that you wouldn't have with your female mates, sure. But it's about, if you just, like, say for example, you and Kelly are here now and you guys are talking about things, but you guys are discussing it and you guys are disagreeing with stuff. You're not worried about what she thinks of you to that kind of aspect, because you guys are here to to talk and debate about stuff, right? But some guys are like, "Oh, I'm getting a vibe, man. Might be able to get it in there, so let me just." Like pander to her and be like, exactly, I get you, yeah, 100%, babes, 100%, yeah. There's guys like that.
You know what though? I think that sometimes that happens. Like I've done it before, where I've gone on a date with someone and
wait, let me stop right there. You want to date with them? That's completely different, because that's a situation of romantic already. I'm talking about just a girl and a guy. And him trying to get the potential of it.
Right.
Because a date already, you kind of already know in it. There's some sort of thing there, some sort of like, so romantic involvement or potential, or both are attracted to each other. It's different. So you already know. I'm talking about just
I know what you mean again.
Because there's like random dons out here who are breaking their back for any Susan, basically.
On a date, you're already trying to meet halfway to make sure it doesn't go pear-shaped. So there's already some kind of interest. But there's some guys on a daily basis, they will, simp's the right word. You know, when they simp over a girl, it means that they're willing to do anything to kind of.
Well, that's it. That's exactly the word I was alluding to. Yeah.
One of them. Remember, I said I had a list of educational things. You're gonna laugh, but we're being real here. So I mentioned the fitness, the spiritual. One of them was like friend zone videos, because I just got friend zone and I was annoyed about it, and I wanted to learn the psychology behind it. And then I learned loads, believe it or not. So I'm glad I did it. But the word that popped up they used was simp. They were like, there's a difference between a guy who is putting himself out there to make effort with a girl, and a guy who is just molding to everything she is saying, to make yourself available for her whenever she's free, to say everything she agrees on, just for the sake of trying to get her. And that is what a simp is. I learned what the simp was.
Because respect is a lot. And also, you're basically doing extraordinary things for someone who doesn't not deserve it. That's not the right word. Maybe who hasn't even established that. You're doing a bunch of stuff for a stranger just on the potential that you might get something into, and you're compromising yourself. Look, I mean, some people aren't afraid to be some people are too afraid of being disliked. I don't give a fuck. So I'm here, like, I'm saying what I'm saying. So if you don't like me with what I'm saying, then cool, innit? Like, I still sleep at night. But I feel some people are the validation they get from other people, especially women, is so mad that it controls their whole life. You can't do that. Validation comes from within. I always say that.
I think that's something we can all learn while we're in lockdown.
Yeah, validation comes from within, exactly.
Love yourself a bit more. Respect yourself a bit more.
Well, that's it. Go on.
What are you saying, Rob? People should validate themselves. Is that like an accepting thing?
Yeah, so people should, you should know that, you should know about, you shouldn't seek approval of other people all the time. Like, you shouldn't just, why? Because then someone else is always in charge of your feelings, your emotions, and the rest of it. It's not, because then where does it stop as well? That's a
horrible place to be as well, because you're constantly, you just don't feel happy.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been there, bro.
The problem is as well is social media is all about validation. Like people put up pictures for likes, they put up pictures for followers. It's all validation from others, which is so unhealthy. And that, it's not a good place to be in. But it's the world we live in, Rob.
It is. So what's going on, Kelly? We're going to find you a guy. What are your requirements again? Let me write them down. I'm going to find you some decent guy. I mean, do you mind if he's married or not? Because all the decent guys I know are married. So.
Well, to be fair, they'd be right on my street then, because the only guys that ever approached me. So.
It's.
I
know. They must be greedy then. No, because it's quite interesting actually. I think I've spoken about this with someone else. Even when I look around, the kind of guys that I know who are in a relationship are the most solid guys. And I don't mean safe and stable like that. I mean in the sense of what their character is like. And it's crazy because the unstable people that I know, they're the ones not in relationships. So I'm definitely seeing some sort of pattern. Definitely seeing some sort of pattern here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I don't know. I think I don't know. Well, actually, let me put that. Do you want my advice, Kelly? I don't know, because some people, I ask people if they want my advice. This one safe side. It's like a disclaimer.
Go for it.
I think this is what I would do if I was Kelly. This is what I would do. Yeah. First of all, I'd put myself in a better environment, in the sense of an environment where I'm more likely to meet, successful, good quality dudes, right? So get yourself down a golf club, yeah? Get yourself down a golf club. Some real dudes down there. Get yourself down a golf club. I reckon, don't deal with any boys. Anyone under 35, no, they're out, in my opinion, unless they're really on something. Do you mind if they've got kids or anything like that, or is that a deal breaker?
I would prefer it if they didn't.
Okay.
Just extra baggage, but
Okay.
Hey,
do you want someone who's been married already?
Not really.
Okay, so I'm trying to get a vibe on your thing. So you want someone who's not been married already, someone who doesn't have kids, someone who's not a scumbag or a dickhead, someone who's tall, dark, and handsome. Is that right? Or
that's
how tall are you, Kelly? By the way, roughly
5'5".
Okay, so you're quite small, so you can have anyone over 5'7", really. Anything like I think 5'7" and above, right? Yeah. So golf clubs, no, not married currently or previously, no kids. Okay. Someone really, let's say someone about 5'8". Let's get a good distance there. I don't know. See, even the guy, I'm telling you, the guys I know, I'm thinking like, yo, they're I don't know, they're a bit involved. If you don't mind if they're like involved, then it's like secret relationship. No, is that? That's out.
Not for me. It's not for me.
And then someone who wants to get married and stuff. But this is the thing as well. I was thinking about this. If it's kind of mad when you think about it, because hold on, how old are you, Kelly? You're 34.
I don't talk about this.
What's that? Oh, well, your age. All right, your 30s.
Let's say I'm in my 30s. Yeah.
Okay, so you're in the 30s. So I'm trying to think of the timeline. I kind of get. I've heard of some other situations before. I really understand women a lot more, because I know when people are like, oh, I'm in my 30s, I'm like, yeah, calm down, innit? But I'm thinking like a guy. I need to don't think like a guy. I need to think like a woman. Because if I'm think of it as the other way around. Imagine this, Faris. Imagine you only had up until you're 38 to have a kid, if you wanted to have a kid, for example. Because after then it's high risk, right? And then obviously you might want to spend a few years with someone, then you may or may not want to get married, then that's something else. And then there's going to be a point where you might not be working as much, so you want someone who's stable and all this. So it'd be like, would you be really on it if you had the woman biology the woman biology and limitations? Would you be?
Oh, yeah. At what age? 38.
Yeah, I think it's 38. Because after there's high risk.
I mean, to be honest, like, women are having kids now. Like, we've completely evolved. I was reading about it the other day. Women have completely evolved because we're now having careers and stuff. Women are having babies later, so it's actually the age has gone up. So women are having babies still in their early 40s. Yeah,
but it's high risk from 38. It's still high risk from 38. And also,
it's a higher risk, but not high risk.
So it's higher, is it? It's a higher risk.
It's a higher. There's always a risk, but it's a higher risk. So it's not like if you get pregnant at 38, it's gonna,
Well, they call you geriatric mothers. If you're 38, you're a geriatric mother, and that's the official term.
Horrendous. Yeah. It's horrendous. That's such an awful term.
Well, I think well, I don't know. I don't really know, but I know that. But then again, so that's crazy. So okay, sorry, I cut you off. Sorry, Kelly. Go on, continue.
I think that was kind of it.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Like, women are just having babies older. I know my cousin had a baby at 40.
Oh man.
And like a lot of my friends are, sort of older and only starting now to maybe settle down, and they're all still. I've got a couple of friends that have frozen their eggs.
Oh damn.
Because they don't want babies at the moment,
right,
and they're worried.
So
in 2 years' time.
I do have to ask. You see the women that you know who are in that kind of bracket that we spoke about, what are the guys like that they're with?
Like, they've got a good career behind them because they've kind of waited as well. They've worked and then they've got to like their early 40s and then decided that they wanted to meet someone. They're not like, your sort of guy next door. They're not absolutely frigging gorgeous or anything, but they're good looking, like they're just decent guys. They're nice guys. you know, that have got a good career behind them. They're not swimming in cash, but they can support you. Like they're a nice, a good egg.
Good eggs. Yeah, I mean, good eggs are good, but I always believe nice guys do finish last. They do. I think.
No, he's right, man.
No, because all I'm saying is I've spent some time being a scumbag in the streets and that. And
I've spent my time being the nice guy, so we're like from opposite ends of the game.
No, but you got to remember that there's a big difference between nice guys and there's not. I think some people think there's nice guys and there's scumbags. There's not. There's an in between. And being a scumbag isn't about literally being a scumbag. It's just about not taking shit, knowing what your boundaries are, not letting anyone cross your boundaries, not letting other people validate you. There's this combination of things. And nice guys are the other end of the spectrum where they're like, they don't want to upset anyone and they don't want to cause a riff and they're thinking too much about everyone else's feelings. But at the end of the day, you're born alone, you die alone, innit? So really, you need to really think about yourself in certain situations, especially if someone's crossing your boundaries and taking the piss out of you.
You need to check your own moral compass, innit?
Yeah, but you need to remember it's about, your own moral compass and just not being afraid of being disliked. Because I feel like that's one of the nice guys' fears. They feel like they're going to be disliked or feel like they're going to I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm not really a nice guy, so I don't know. But it's just about, just don't keep on compromising yourself. And it's a lot of it is about putting people's other needs multiple times against yours, especially people, like we said earlier, who don't actually really deserve that, to be fair. So, but usually what does happen is that, women do end up with some nice guys, but I don't know, that's kind of fine, but you know what it is in there. When they end up with nice guys, that's not a first draft pick. You know what I mean? It's like a second draft pick. Man. Usually,
I think sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is. But
I hate to be that, man.
Because you have some people who like some. I'm not. I sound like I'm women hating, but I'm not. It's not supposed to come across like that. But it's just like women. Some women like they have someone, they date all the scumbags. And then they'll know someone or they might meet someone and not really give them a chance. But now they finish with all the scumbags. They're like, let me go and give Steve a chance. Steve's always been good to me. Steve's a good guy. He'll look after me. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a bump. I would never want to be someone's second draft pick. Like I couldn't. But the problem stems as well from the guys themselves. I'm not trying to blame the women. It's the guys aren't standing up for themselves and not working on themselves and making them better and working on themselves emotionally as well. That's what's going to happen to you. You need to get woke. The game is not based on sympathy. That is straight facts.
You know what though, Rob?
That's a Rob White wisdom.
That everyone eventually ends up where they're meant to be anyway then. Because the girls, they didn't get number one and they sort of settled for him. And then even if he's a second option, he clearly didn't make himself the guy he potential could have been. So he kind of has to, like the Premiership reference you made, he's in the Championship. He got relegated. He couldn't get back in the Prem. And then the girl who also couldn't get back in the Prem settled for him. So it's like everyone gets who they want.
They do. Well, not, and also as well, but with that as well, it's like, and to be honest, innit? Like, this is going to sound hella chauvinistic, but I'm going to say it. But he's not going to get her when she's top tier, innit? He's going to got her when she's been run through by bare footballers in Mayfair, as you mentioned earlier. Where she's been, and I mean emotionally as well. I don't mean just physically. I mean emotionally. Like emotionally, she might have had her own personal traumas of relationships and whatnot. And now you don't get her when she's.
I hear you laughing.
It's like, it's like
Rob,
second, man.
Oh God. Rob, my battery's dying and I've got no charger.
Oh my days!
It's not working.
It's not working. Well. I don't know. I don't know what to say to you, man.
Say anything, Renee. You didn't say anything wrong there, Rob. Like what he's saying is, he's saying it in like a no filter way. But what he's essentially saying is, when a girl is in her prime and she's getting all the attention in the world and every guy wants her, when the clubs are closing and she's now not in her 20s and she's now in her 30s and the rappers and the footballers that she was chasing are now settled for other female rappers or female footballers. Eventually, she's realised she wasn't meant to be wifed by them. And then Dave, who wanted to take her on a date earlier in her 20s, so she parted off, is now, not swimming in money, as you said, but he can look after her. and now she might give him a chance, and that's the chance he was waiting for, and then everyone is happily ever after.
Always remember though, women control access to sex, men control access to marriage. That's what it is. Some people choose not to get married, but okay, no, let me rephrase that. A woman says she's choosing not to get married. That's fine, but if no one's asked you, how's that a choice? Do you see what I'm saying? That's what it's about. Because it takes someone like Faris or myself to get down on one knee and ask a woman to marry her. So until women start turning around and getting on one knee and asking guys to marry them, then we're running that department.
Yeah.
So it's not for everyone though. But you're going, Kelly, aren't you? You're going.
Mate, my charger, I'm on 2%, and I'm worried that it's going to die, and you'll think that I've run away from you, and I haven't. I've really enjoyed it.
Okay, well...
It's been a great chat. It's been a great chat, you know.
It's been interesting. I mean, I'm trying to think if I can say some... I think if Kelly goes with her charger dying, I'm thinking, is there some more unfiltered stuff I can say just to Faris? Man to man. Because...
You know I'm going to watch this, though, right? And if you say anything...
No, you can't.
I am coming after you. I'm coming after you,
You've got to leave the country to come and get me. So, because I'm not even in the country. So, you know. Boys don't stop me, boy.
Right, well, I am going to have to go, boys.
It's been interesting, Kelly. It's been interesting. I hope you've learned something from these young gentlemen. I definitely have. I think I'm going to become a lesbian. Right. Stay woke. Stay woke, Kelly. Stay woke, as always. Let me...
All right, guys.
Yeah.
God bless. See you later.
Oh, wait. Have I kicked her out?
I don't know. I'm still here.
Oh, I've put stop video. Hold on. Let me remove her. There we go.
Hey.
Oh, no. Wait. I don't want to report her. Hold on. She wasn't that bad. Hold on. Hello. Hold on, let me just, I'm going to rethink this. So, let me just change up the view. I'm just saying, man, I think everyone needs to get woke out here. People need to get woke. And I think that's the best way to answer that, to be honest, man. Because you're out here living your best life. So, hold on.
Right.
So, but to be fair, no, I wanted to say to you, like, you've been killing it lately, man. So, really, I've been watching the work, man. I'm loving the work, man. You've been killing it.
No,
so I just wanted to give you your props for that, man. Like I know you don't need my validation, but it's always based on the earlier conversation. I mean, I feel like it's always good to let people know, innit? Like not just in the DMs, like be real with people and just tell them, like, yeah, like I'll fuck with what you're doing, innit? Like, so for sure.
No.
Let me just squeeze this up there. There we go. Yeah, man. So I thought I'd just share that with you. And I heard you learned something because actually, no, you know what? Someone was asking me to ask you about Bali date or something.
Oh yeah, is it?
What?
Jokes.
I did see it, but I'm like, is that so? What happened with the girl from there?
Well, I messaged her after we filmed that episode because actually, obviously, like I didn't expect to win it. I just came on it for a laugh. Create content, get out of the house, lockdown. The producers are really cool. I like the concept of the show. I went along. He was like, you're going to wear a bally, you're going to answer some questions, and a bally queen is going to pick one out of the 3 guys, and you're going to be one of the 3. So we went, did a lie detector test, they asked me some questions, bit of banter, and then I won. And then she picked me, and then we got on well. And then I just, the producer was like, oi, have you been talking to your bally queen? I was like, oh no, I didn't know if it was like a thing, innit? If it was just for the show or if it was just like a real. He was like, bro, chat to your belly queen now. I've bigged you up to her. And I was like, so I dropped her a DM. We got talking, and she's actually a cool girl. Like she's nice. Like we actually, you know what? That show, it subliminally connected us a little. Do you know what I mean? You know?
Yeah, a bit like, deeper, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because you both go on a show and you win it, and you both get coupled. It's hard not to use that as a way to
like a jump start.
Yes, in real life. And then in the DMs we got chatting. She was asking about what I do. She checked out like my profile, asked about other things. I was then just saying to her like, yo, this was right before we went into the last lockdown, you know. But you know when they said restaurants and bars will be closing midnight. Yeah. And then on the last day, everyone was getting. That's when I just came up on the show. So I messaged her and I was like, oh, we're going to lockdown. And she was like, I might come London tomorrow. I was like, it's the last chance to do something. If you are in London, drop me a message. She was like, I definitely will. She bottled it because she then cancelled on her mate, and then she never came to London. Then we went into lockdown, so I haven't spoken to her. Well, no, we spoke once, like 2 weeks ago. I was like, yeah, you wish you came now, innit, to London, because now we're
Oh,
in
she's not
lockdown,
from
so
London. Where's she from?
Cambridge or Kent, somewhere like an hour or two out.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, I really wish I came to London. I miss going out. And I was like, yeah, you should have come. We could have chilled, hung out. We could have gone somewhere. Now look, we're in lockdown. Always take your chances in life.
Would you ever go on Love Island?
Oh.
The reason I asked that because I didn't ask Kelly, but Kelly was on Dinner Date before. And I feel like there's a few other shows. I mean, I'm not single and stuff, but I think Love Island would make more sense just as a boost for a career as well. Because when you look at someone like Josh Denzel and what he's done for him on top of what he was already doing, it does make you think, you know? You just got to know how to play the game though.
That's what I mean. You have to go in with a game plan. You have to, but think of how much you're sacrificing, bro. Your family life, your personal life, the things that you just want to keep personal. Do you know what I mean? Like your life comes out, your relationships come out. You have to get physically in shape. You have to then start to think about everything you want to do. But then it's almost like, isn't that what we're aiming for to get to that level? So it's such a catch-22. This played through my head many times, believe me. Like I've got to the stage where friends don't just say, go on it, bro, you'd be sick on it. I've got to the stage where I know casting producers for it. And I'm like, is it a lot more possible than I thought? Like, should I do it? Like you said, we're not getting younger, late 20s now. I'm like, is it something that I should consider? But you know what? I'm a big believer in what's meant to happen will happen. So I love the idea of applying for something and then moving on in my life. I would never put all my eggs in one basket.
Yeah, for sure. I'm the same.
Do you know what I mean? I would never go, I need to be 1 million subscribers to be successful. I need a blue tick, or I need to be on Love Island to have a career. I will do what I'm doing always, anyway, all the time, anyway. And then along the way, whatever opportunity passes by, apply for that. Let me see if I can do that. Let me give that a go. If it doesn't work out, I'm doing what I'm doing anyway. Just always keep it moving. Yeah,
it's good. That's a good attitude to have, man, for sure, because I think that's going to really set you apart. Some people get really obsessed with one thing. They're like, okay, I need to apply for this, and this is the only thing, and you can't live life like that. And I think lockdown's one of those things that have showed us that I just say yes to everything, to be honest, especially with how the industry is. I just say yes to everything. And then
why not?
Those who come back with like, okay, this is when we're doing it, or this is when we're filming, or this is how much it is, then I can figure out a way to put it in the schedule. But usually 100%. Things take ages to get off the ground anyway.
That's what I'm saying. So, bro, for like, I've been in this for a few years now, since I graduated in this media, climbing the ladder, and people have always said, you need a goal, bro. Like you're floating. And it's always played in the back of my mind, like, I don't have a goal. What's my vision? But doors kept opening. So it was almost like those with a goal, it's like a blessing. Is it a curse or a blessing? Because it's like, you know where you want to be so badly that you won't settle for anything but that. So you know which direction exactly to head towards. It might be an ambitious direction, but at least you know which way you're navigating your career, your life, your journey there, which I've never had. But I've always just been hungry to hustle, constantly grind, follow my curiosity, and create projects that I'm passionate about. Over the last year or two, I've stopped trying to find a goal and forcing a goal, because I'm just creating a narrative in my head because I think people need a goal. So, and I'm doing all right for someone who doesn't have a goal. So I'm okay constantly taking each day, week, month, year, as it goes, with what's in front of me and focusing in the present moment. Okay, I know these people. This is where my life takes me. I need to work with these brands. Okay, this is currently what's happening in the world. So this is a relevant topic to discuss on my... That's how I've always been. For example, I met this girl and she was a musician. And I was like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to end up? She was like, I want to sell out the O2. I was like, sick. That's sick. But then like that, again, is that good or bad? Because you could be a musician who's found their sound, created a niche, and gets paid to do what they love and has a successful career. But if you say I just want to sell out the O2, that's quite an ambitious goal.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, will you not be happy unless you sell out the O2? Like,
yeah. And I think then it does cloud your vision a little bit as well. But I always say that as long as you progress year on year, I think month on month is too ambitious, but I think if you progress year on year, if you're in a better position next year than you were last year, then that's what it's about. You're going in the right direction, and it's about doing, like you're saying, it's about, because like I'm not on radio anymore, but I'm doing this other thing. I'm working with Twitch now, so it's like, okay, cool. So I'm still doing something, and then and also you can probably tell in your gut as well about certain things. After a while, you'll be doing things for a while, and then you're gonna be like, I don't know, I'm not really as passionate about this anymore. Then you start looking at other things, and then things usually just come. Yeah. Usually when they're meant to come as well. So, but I think, like I said, social media doesn't really help about, everyone's always glowing up, but no one shows, like everyone says, no one posts their failures, innit? So.
100%. Does it bother you personally, like when you're on social? Because you're always active, you're busy, you've always been consistent with your thing. Yeah. But has it bothered you seeing social or someone with more clout or someone with a goal doing it? Or have you always believed in your source to just care about what's in your lane?
I think I've seen some people, because there's some people who do similar stuff to me, but then there's someone who does things like, I consider what you do completely different to what I do. So same. So I'm not like really, I don't feel like you're stealing any work from me, because I'm like, that's not really my field, innit? Like I don't really do that, right? But then the stuff that I'm doing is kind of, I'm trying to do a lot more off my own back now, because you can't really rely too much on other people, especially how the industry is. I mean, you're quite fortunate because you work with events and you work with brands. And when it comes to events and brands, they have like a better budget, or they're a bit more thing. But when you're working with the UK scene, that I found, it's hard work, innit? Like, and I don't ever want to have to feel there's a way where you have to try and convince someone to pay you what you're worth, for example. Because to me, I'm like, it's just bonkers. That makes no sense to me, right? Because it's like this thing Big Nasty was saying when he did ZZ Mills interview, was that they said, oh, we're going to pay you, I think it was like $4,000 for every episode of the Big Nasty show. And he goes, what's the budget? He goes, okay. And then they go, okay, we're going to pay you $6,000. He's like, okay, what's the budget? And they kept on refusing to answer the question. So they kept on just upping the money, because...
What was this? It was a show that...
It's the Big Nasty show. So this what happened, the Channel 4... went to Big Nasty, and they're like, okay, we're going to give you, I think it was like $3,000 per episode. So he came back and he said, what's the budget? And they go, okay, we're going to give you $5,000 per episode, etc. So they kept on going up. So he ended up getting like $10,000 an episode, purely on the fact of him knowing what his worth was, and knowing that their reluctance to tell him what the budget was the fact of they were basically bumping him.
Oh my days. Is that a true story?
Yeah.
Is that like public?
Yeah, that came out of his mouth. Yeah, it came out of his mouth. Yeah.
You're clued up in like culture, UK scene, which is like I'm not, which is good because I learn things from people like you. But that's mad, because I know him as well. But to hear that story is like, I was thinking, why does he keep saying what's the budget? What's the budget? They're telling him what the budget is, but they're not. They're telling him what they're willing to pay him, isn't it?
That's it. And that's the thing is, and I think people will always pay if they think you're good enough. That's the bottom line. So I feel like, don't ever feel like, I've been in situations where people are like convincing me why they shouldn't pay me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we agreed, especially if we agreed something before, and now you're trying to tell me because your situation has changed. Like for an event, if someone's doing an event and the event doesn't do as well as they imagined, okay, that's fine, big man, that's not my problem. Like, we agreed on this amount of money. Just because the event didn't sell out or you didn't sell enough tickets, it's got nothing to do with me, bro. I did my job. We agreed a price, and that's it. But people use excuses like this.
100%, bro. There's been like festivals that are big mainstream festivals that have like just chucked me a press pass, and I've done jobs for free because I'm just like gassed to be there. And then there's been little festivals in small cities around the UK who have paid me nicely to come with a cameraman and produce a video and do some interviews because they like what I bring. So it's almost like they have a much smaller budget, obviously, than a mainstream festival, who could easily pay me to come do my thing for pennies and know that I'll passionately smash it for them and do a good job. But the smaller festival clearly valued me and knew me more and followed my journey and wanted me there. So you know, I felt deep, but they were willing to pay it. But at the same time, it's like, it proves your point of what you're saying, you know? Like, if someone really values you and your craft and what you bring to the table, you won't need to sell yourself, man. They'll be like, cool, like, how much do you charge? Cool, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's about, like you said, just kind of saying, and that's another thing why I say yes to everything, because I got an offer because I'm not in the UK at the moment. I don't know if you know this, but I'm not in the UK.
Where
right
are
now.
you?
I'm in Malta. So I'm
That's all right,
I'm heading up. I'm working, doing some work in iGaming, setting up a streaming site and stuff like that. I'll send it to you actually.
Not bad during the pandemic.
Of course, like, listen, I'm Rob White. Rob White always gets what he wants. But the thing is, it's like, so someone messaged me about some work in London. Now, obviously, I'm not in London, but I'm like, okay, let's find out what's up. So I messaged them back and I said, yeah, cool, give me some details. What's the budget? They're like, oh, because they approached me and they said, oh, I think you'll be really good for this thing or whatever. I was like, all right, cool. They gave me a little bit of information about it. I go, cool, what's the budget? I already knew there wasn't going to be a budget, bro. I knew. You know, when someone approaches you in a certain way, I just knew. It. So I said, all right, tell me what the budget is. He comes back, blah, blah, blah. It's not a budget at the moment or whatever. I go, cool, no problem. Thanks for the offer, but no, I'm not doing anything like that. That's it. So I don't feel a type of way about it because before I used to feel a type of way. I feel guilty because it's like, it sounds like a project like I would be involved in, but I can't keep on dedicating my time to stuff which isn't gonna fucking even pay my water bill. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like I want to, like, and that's what I used to do a lot of time because I didn't really have the experience, so I just had to do whatever to try and get to build up the experience. So I was happy to do it, but now I'm like, nah, big man. Man's interviewed M Honcho. Man's glowed up. Man's got pictures of Craig David. Don't need this. Nah, but you know what I mean. I'm gassing, but there's enough of a catalogue there which says, yeah, like, I can do this job. And the fact that you've approached me, I can do this job. And it's the way as well. He's like, oh, we haven't got a budget for hosts. 4 hosts, innit? So you got a budget for other people, but you ain't got it for hosts. So I'm like,
that's peak.
Okay, cool. But I'm like, all right, cool. Like, it's what it is. But that just, and also I said, to be honest, depending on who it is, sometimes it can be a little bit insulting because I'm like,
of course,
come on, man. Like, I know you, innit? Especially the guys who are like, look, bro, I know you got that paper in it. Like, come on now, you might be a guy who's got the paper or a platform who's got the paper, and I'm like, really? And you're saying, nah, bro, nah. But anyway. But I won't keep it too long, man. But I thought it would be good for just to kind of catch up anyway because now that I've obviously scared off Kelly because I feel like maybe I was a little bit too blunt, but I'm just keeping it real, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm happy in it, so I want other people to be happy. So I'm just trying to share my knowledge, and hopefully that helps. If it doesn't help, then I don't know. Man's got a sweet one already, so. But I'm gonna let you go and do your thing. Appreciate you coming in and talk, man. It was fun. It was interesting. It was nice. 2 people who don't know each other. Thing, but it was crazy. Yeah, she knows Heather, so I thought you guys might already knew each other because of Heather. No, so mad. Bringing people together from day one, man. From day one. But I'm gonna let you go, man. I appreciate it. Faris Sting Rai on Instagram. I've actually linked your stuff on here. I've got a few people in the chat checking. You might get a couple new follows coming in the DMs. So yeah, man. Thanks for your time, man. Hope you had an interesting evening, and take care and wear your mask, stay 2 feet, and don't listen to Boris.
Bro, love for that. It was actually really good being on here, man. So thanks for having me, man.
No worries, man.
And have a good evening, yeah. Chat to you soon.
Man. Peace.
Love.